Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. We are kind of welcoming spring here in Omaha before the actual spring date. It's a beautiful day today, and the sun is shining. Birds are chirping, and today I want to talk about a perfume that is actually not a really springy perfume, but it's something you can wear all year round. And this is the classic unforgettable Coco by Chanel. And this is a perfume that is one of my favorites. This is a perfume that I've been wearing since I was in my mid-20s, and something that is really defies the passage of time. So let me give you a little bit about history real quick about this perfume. So we see a little bit of the context in which it was created. And then we'll talk about what it smells like and what makes it so special and so amazing. So history. Chanel is well known for its perfumes, and specifically really well known for number 5. So number 5, is a perfume that was created in the 1920s. That was very, they say they sell it more than any other perfume in the world. So when people think of the Chanel house, they think of number 5. However, I really think that, in my opinion, Coco is the great masterpiece of Chanel. So this was created after Coco Chanel's death. What we have to remember is that Coco Chanel, her name was Gabrielle, but her nickname was Coco. And this was created in 1984. She passed away in the 70s, and this was created in 84 by the in-house perfumer Jacques Polge. Okay, so Jacques Polge created this, and he got inspiration from, the Orient. This is a big Oriental, and the inspiration for this is the Orient. And in the 80s, it was really, really the fashion. It was really popular and trendy to create big, voluptuous, spicy Oriental perfumes. A couple years prior, several years prior to Coco, Opium by Yves Saint Laurent came out. And this is in the same family of big spicy Orientals that were really in the trend, but deviates it from YSL Opium. So the 80s were a decade of economic boom. They were a decade of, after the big recessions of the 70s, of economic boom, of shoulder pads, of women really being empowered, and women being bold and emboldened and fierce, and going into the workplace with lots of ambition and lots of confidence, right? So worldwide, and especially in Europe and in the United States, that's kind of like what the 80s were about. So without getting too much into politics, this emboldened woman is really what's represented in this perfume. And the shoulder pads, when I talk about the shoulder pads in fashion, it really shows the elevation of women in that decade, and the perfumes and the fashion of that time. If you look at Chanel's fashion at that time, and Karl Lagerfeld's lines, it really, really exemplifies what I'm trying to say. And so this is the epitome of this female empowerment. So when you spray this, now onto the smell, when you spray this, it is very spicy. It is very, very seductive, but it is very traditional, very Oriental, and very femme, in the sense that when I say very femme, I mean you can picture a beautiful woman in a skirt suit going to work in the 80s. And you can also picture, a woman going to a big event, to the opera, to a gala, to the theater, to a dinner reception. You will be noticed wearing this. I mean, it's extremely elegant. It smells like cloves. There's a clove smell that comes out first, a little bit of cinnamon. But where it really differs from Yves Saint Laurent Opium is that Opium is a spice bomb, and this has some flowers and fruit to it. So it is softened by the fruits. By the fruits, there's mandarin, orange, and there are dried fruits. So if you think about a plate of dates and dried apricots and dried plums and prunes, this is definitely that dried fruit sweet smell that you get. And when I smell this, I picture, the Orient Express, the train in, the famous train that used to travel all the way to Turkey. And I think of the Bosphorus, and I think of also even Venice, and it's a very, very Baroque theme. So Coco Chanel loved Baroque. So the art and that time period in history in the 17th, 18th century, and her apartment, Rue Cambon in Paris, was decorated in the Baroque fashion. And in the 80s, there was a revival of this big, bold architectural lines in fashion, that golden, very loud type of decoration and architecture, and it is really embodied in this. So this is a perfume that a man could wear, absolutely, but in my opinion, it is the epitome of a powerful, emboldened, smart woman who knows what she wants out of life and goes and gets it. Now, how appropriate is this for our generation, which has become somewhat perfume sensitive and somewhat perfume resistant, especially in parts of the United States where I live? Well, you have to be careful with this. I wouldn't wear this into a classroom if you're a teacher or a professor. I wouldn't wear this into a hospital if you work in a hospital. I would strictly wear this, at night for big events when you're dressed up and you want to make an entrance. This is what Coco is for nowadays. And this exists in eau de parfum and eau de toilette and extrait renditions. But I think that the eau de parfum is a little more feminine and fruity, and the eau de toilette is a little bit drier and more unisex. So if you're a man or identify as a man and want to wear something a little less gendered, I would definitely go for the eau de toilette. For a woman, the eau de parfum works fine. And the extrait, I have a bottle of the extrait, is not really worth it, in my opinion, because it although it's stronger at first, it doesn't last and project as well. So Coco, elegance, sparkly, spicy, feminine, sweet perfume at the same time. Not for every day if you live here in the United States. If you're in the Middle East, where we'll talk about that later, if you're in the Middle East where the mores and the societal norms around perfume are a little different, absolutely wear this during the day. That is fine. But here, I don't see myself wearing this going grocery shopping, although you can do whatever you want, but you might offend some people who have sensitivities and allergies and things like that, or asthma or things like that. So the gala, a big event, the opera, Coco. So that is one of my signature perfumes. Thank you for listening, and hopefully you will go and try this.